Good afternoon, everybody. It's a little bit after 7 p.m. September 3rd, 2022, Labor Day weekend. Had a great cruise in the car yesterday. I've been spending a lot of time with this car, trying to get a lot of work done on it. I have other cars, but, I go from one car to the other. But, the topic of today's video is the trunk. Now, sometimes junk in the trunk is a good thing, but not in an MGB. These cars weigh about 2,240 pounds, and you want to minimize the weight. Now, I already took out some stuff, MGB parts here. Various old parts, new parts, electrical parts, things like that. So I'm going to start cleaning out the trunk, just keeping the essential. There's some old parts came with the car and some new parts. So I'm going to clean out the trunk. Take some weight off the rear suspension, why not? The leaf springs. There's a lot of unnecessary stuff in here. Some of it I have to put back on the car. But a lot of it I don't need in here. I'm just going to keep, obviously, the spare tire, the wrench, to get the spinners off. In case you don't know, these are spinners. It's a big nut that you need a wrench to get the tire off, the wheel off. So I'm going to just take a lot of stuff out of here that I don't need in here anymore. Okay, I just had a brief interruption. So I have fuel line, I have belts, some brake hoses. This is the battery tray for the side that doesn't have a battery. Got some belts, and here's the battery tray cover. What else we got here? This guy was on the hood. And I have the cowl cover. The chrome. This beautiful chrome piece with the screen. And the headlight rings, trim rings. This beautiful. I didn't put this on yet. But I want to make the trunk look nice, so I have a bin here. It's been sitting in my yard for months. Nobody claimed it. So I cleaned it out. And I'm going to put some MG parts in here. There's a lot of important things in here, believe it or not. When I bought the car, those brackets for the rear bumper. Well, the rear bumper was not on the car when I bought the car, so I put it back on. The previous owner kind of made it into like one of those race cars without the rear bumper, but I put it back on. I'm not really racing this car. Okay, so I want to get this trunk nice and clean. That's the goal for this evening. This is some vacuum line I bought. Guys, when you buy fuel line, make sure it's real fuel line. There's a lot of crap on the internet that is not real fuel line, and you will have nothing but problems. Trust me. These are my old lenses. One of them was cracked. The other one was fine. I changed them. They look really good. And the backup lamps are new. Okay, I'm just going to clean this out. I'm not going to take a video of me taking stuff out of the trunk, but you'll see the final result. Someday I'll put some speakers in those holes back there. So I have the trunk rack. I'm not going to put it on. It's pretty heavy. And if I take it out of the trunk, this thing is heavy. And if I take it out of the trunk, I'll have that much more room in the trunk for my valise or something. You know, it's pretty heavy, and this car really doesn't need any more weight added to it. It's a pretty solid made steel car, but you don't need to add more weight to it. I just want to mention, this is the oil I put in the car for its first oil change. High zinc Valvoline VR1 20W50. Okay? It's not synthetic, don't need synthetic, but it's got some zinc in it for the flat tappets. Keep the cam wear down. So far so good. So you may be wondering, why do I have this 5-quart jug in my little tiny teeny MGB trunk? Because when you do an oil change, you use about 4.5 quarts roughly. So, you know, you're always stuck with this, as you could see, about a half a quart. It's not quite level. See? So you're always stuck with that. You could always pour it into an actual quart and cover it. You know, a quart, a container. So that's why this is in the trunk. This is an MGB axle strap. Supports the axle when you're doing certain things to the car. I forgot what this connects in between, but it's on both sides. There's one on the right rear and one on the left rear of the car to support the axle. Mine is broken on the right side, so it's not something that you need to drive the car or anything like that. It's when you're working on the car. Oh. Now the Unison, you want to, when you have twin carburetors, whether they're twin Strombergs, or twin SUs, or twin anything, you definitely want to keep this puppy in the trunk. Wait, let me just put the camera down a sec. Sorry about that. So this thing's really handy in syncing the carburetors. So maybe I'll leave this in the trunk. This may be something that I still have to use. So maybe I'll leave that in the trunk. Here's some brake lines. I don't know why. I actually saved the old rubber ones. These I already put on the car. These are the 2 front ones. They worked out well. Anybody else save old brake lines? I mean, they were still functional. I mean, I guess in an emergency. You know, but how much stuff are you going to save? Gets to be ridiculous after a while. So here are my trim rings for the front headlights. Now, I didn't put them on yet because I just want to, I forgot why, but there's something else I had to do before I put these trim rings back on, because if I didn't do that something else, then I'd have to take these off again. So, not trying to make extra work. So this is the part, and each headlamp gets one of these. Now one side of mine is rusty and the other one's broken, so don't put these on with rusted clamps. Get new clamps. Otherwise they're going to break and you're going to lose your trim rings. These are nice chrome pieces. Okay. When I did my master cylinder, I did a full brake bleed on the system, and I bought 2 of these 32-ounce containers of brake fluid, and it turns out I only needed 1 of them. So now I have a full one. So, but I have other cars, so that's good. Maybe I could use it in them. Actually, I probably could, because the other day I just blew out a brake line on the on my 77 TR7. So I ordered the brake lines. I'm changing them all. So just be careful with your brake lines. There was a brake line going to my right front caliper, so it ran across the front of the car, and it was in a plastic clip. The brake line was held to the body, you know, with these little plastic clips, and I guess these clips retain moisture, and it rusted right there and blew out right where the clip. So, you know, it looked like my brake lines were good, but this was like a hidden clip under the body, under the front of the slope of the TR7 in front of the hood seam, and that's where it blew out. So I have an extra brake fluid for that car. Don't need it for the MGB right now, because the MGB is all secure as far as brakes. Although I didn't change the brake lines in that car yet. Here's a bag of nice screwdrivers that my parents weren't using, so I got them now. They gave them to me. And a bicycle hook. But I don't really need this in the trunk, because this kit I keep in the trunk. This is a nice kit for these small cars. And it has screwdrivers, so I don't need all of these if I have this small 1/4-inch ratchet kit. Nice and compact. Perfect for these cars. The trunk is getting empty. I've never been to the bottom of this trunk, and I've had the car for a couple of years now. There's some rugs here that belong to the car, and I know there's the spinner tool is in there. The big hex wrench is in there, and some old brake lines, some new old stock brake lines. Like, I went out and bought the rear brake line, I think, along with the front too. And then I found one in the trunk way at the bottom here. I could have saved some money, but that's okay. I got a spare now. Getting to the rack, that's coming out. That's a heavy luggage rack. It's solid. I mean, I don't know if it's not solid, but it's very strong. Stuff like this battery tray. And this is the battery cover, which I'll be putting back on. These are staying in the trunk because these aren't going to be in the trunk for long, because they're going back on the car. So I don't want to put these away and then forget to put them back on the car. So they'll be going back on the car. Alright, and now for the big heavy rack. Oh. There we go. Alright, it's not that heavy. It's not that heavy, but every ounce counts. It's got a lot of style. But my rear leaf spring mounts are probably thanking me right now for reducing this weight. So we almost filled this bin up. There's the rack. There's a bunch of other stuff here. Not all of this is going back in the trunk. Here's my old gulp valve. The old alternator. Old style alternator connector. Yeah, oh yeah, here's my 2 old alternator plugs. I converted. Originally my alternator had those plugs, the 2 separate ones. Got some tie wraps here. This is all a rug, so I have to save the rug, the interior. Right? Here's the brake line I was telling you about. Made in Italy. Not sure if it's a front or, oh, that could be one of the front ones. Yeah, I already replaced the front, so I have that as a spare, but I don't need to keep that in the trunk. Then I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. This is the jack. I never used it. It's nice to have the original jack though. Here's the wrench for the wheels. Not quite sure where this goes. Almost looks like a heat shield from the exhaust system. That rusted off, it looks like. So this is so cool. Original jack. Here's all these rug pieces. Got a lot of rug pieces. So there you go. Oh, what's this? Oh, this stuff is hard to get. Weather stripping. I wonder if this is for the trunk. Ooh. I'll find out where that goes. I wonder if this is for the trunk or the hood. It's got part numbers on it. 9-9315. The big one does not have a part number. These might be for the trunk on the top there, and I'm not sure. Seatbelt bits. Seatbelt bits. See, a lot of this stuff I don't really need in here. Is a random piece of hose, emergency hose for something. All right, we're getting there. Radio and some wiper blades. Okay. Original jack, looks nice. I've never used it. There's the wrench, need that. And this is, I guess, to hold on the spare. Here's the spare. Now let me put the light on, because it seems what happens to these things is the splines get worn out. So I guess these things are garbage. Like, I have a front tire and the guy I got a front wheel and the guy put a bolt to it, I guess, so it doesn't spin on the splines. See? What do you guys, anybody know what to do with a wheel like this? Is it just garbage? Let me know. Because I don't know anything about knockoffs. I mean, I know how to knock them off. I know how to get the wheels off, but put them on. And I've learned how to do bearings, though I didn't do the bearings yet. Because I don't think they need to be done. They might have been done already. But let me know, is this not safe? I mean, obviously, if you use it in the rear, I suppose it could slip when you're accelerating, but in the front, I don't know. Okay, so let me just back up a little. There's the trunk, looking great. A little vacuuming. Not sure what that is. Thin piece of aluminum, it's like a tag. It's got no numbers on it. There's a wheel chock over there. Okay, I actually have to run out now, so before I do, here's all the rugs, all different pieces. Let me go slow. Okay, looking good. There's the rack. Okay, bye. This was on the car, little rubber ducky antenna. I don't know if these are original aftermarket, to be honest with you, but I took it off because it gets in the way of the car cover. So I don't think I'm gonna put the radio in this car. You know, if I want music, I'll just throw a little Bluetooth speaker in there, battery powered. And the whole idea is to listen to the engine and the exhaust and the wind. Okay. Oh, let me back up. I pulled back the rug. Doesn't look too bad. Pretty solid, little surface rust. We'll take care of that. Not bad at all. Pretty happy about that. Some kind of line here. some kind of T there in the grommet. Not sure what that's for. And here's the tire hold down goes in there. I can't vacuum now because my neighbor's bedroom is pretty close, so let's get some of the bits out of here. All right, looking good. Looking good. Put the tire here. Tire's a lot of weight with the rim. And that's what she's looking like now. Beautiful. Toolbox, wheel chuck, some towels and rags. This is the battery cover. So this will be out of here soon. This is the battery cover that goes behind the seats. Covers the battery holes. Sits on top of these. This is a battery tray. That's going to be out of the trunk soon. This oil I might consolidate into a smaller quart. I'll just buy a quart. There's a half a quart in there. So it's not a lot of weight because it's mostly empty. I have my synchronizers, my jack. If I lift this up, there's the wrench for the spinners, some jumper cables. In here is my electrical meter. Just a lot of stuff that the seat belts are important. So this I'm going to go through. I got have a lot of my jumper wires in here. They're very useful. Troubleshooting things. But I don't need that many. I don't really need them. I don't need that many in the car, and it's always good to have a little meter in the car for electrical. My better meter is in the house, but this is just for quick troubleshooting if I need it. But you know, I'm getting this car beyond the stage of that, hopefully, and mostly maintenance. Random bag. There's the original jack that I don't use. These are fuel line plugs, all different sizes, very useful. So I only have one of these, one set, so I really don't want to lose it. Well, I'll just put it here for now. Put it there for now. Now, what I'm going to do is close this up because I'm done here. Alright. Oh wait. Just going to take a photo before I close it. Okay. Close it up here. Alright. Now we're going to go in the house. Okay. Here's the bin I filled. I filled this bin. Alright. All kinds of stuff in here. All of this was in the trunk. And this beautiful rack that I'm not putting on the car right now. I may never put it on the car. Kind of like the way it looks without it, but okay, now we're going to go in the house and see how much weight this is. I'd like to have a quantitative number to see how much weight I saved in the base. See, she's already looking a little high there. Riding a little bit higher on that wheel well there. Okay, let's see how much weight we saved. Okay, we're in the house. We're going to weigh the bin. I'll take the cover off. Here's the bin. Alright. And there's the rack. That's about 9 pounds. Or 9.5. So let's do it. Oh boy. That's hard to see. Now I can see it. Hold on. Let me just redo it. Sorry. Okay. 30 pounds. 30 pounds. Now let's put the... Oops. Okay, we're going to do it again with the rack. Hold on. Let it reset. Sorry about the camera angle. Oh, this is heavy. Okay. With the rack. 38.6 pounds. You saw it. So I just saved almost 40 pounds. Beautiful. I mean, obviously you could subtract the weight of the bin, which is not that much. All right. Wow, almost 40 pounds. Believe me, in a small car with about 80 horsepower, that makes a difference. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.